I'm Sheriff John Bonnell. I've been personally involved in pursuits for 26 years, and I've never seen anything that could be called a good pursuit. Every single one is terrifying and dangerous.
It looks like these guys seriously mean to get away. They are not stopping until something stops them. These officers are trying to get close enough so that they can use what they call the pit maneuver, and what that involves is tapping the rear bumper, forcing that vehicle to turn.
Hello Forza fans, you joined me this week for the Mazda Miata Spec Series, where I was turned around at Suzuka and messed up this chance to win at Hakone. Going into the penultimate corner, I just got it all wrong, got on the power, slid myself around, couldn't save it, and was collected. I also managed to get glued in this unnecessary 3-car accident while battling for second place at Spa. I tried to keep the inside here, kept it tight look, and then suddenly collision detected and we're all off. You can see in my mirrors there, 3 cars absolutely destroyed in that incident. And I was also caught trying much too hard at the end of Le Mans. So before I try to rerun those to save face, let's start at Watkins Glen. I'm here 4th on the grid, and we get going with a peek into what happened in lap 1. This one's always a bit chaotic because turn 1 can have people overshooting quite badly into you. I just about get away with it this time, but completely get my gearing wrong by going down into 2nd, so I lose some spots. We're back to that old trademark move of mine, I think, of losing spots at the start of the race. Anyway, as we come up the hill, we always know that this flat out section is probably more dangerous at the end as we go into the bus stop than even turn 1. So I'm down into 7th place, not really looking forward to the idea of outbraking these guys by the end of it. So I back off just a little, as you'll see here. They go really hot into there. The orange car actually takes up really nicely, but P6 there, Gladiatore, goes off. I catch up to Havens by the next corner. They go super deep. Sorry, the next series of corners. They go super deep and I get a good run out. You see them in my mirrors there, so I'm back up to 5th already. As we're on lap 2, we go to the bus stop where a little bit more bunching up has occurred, but no death or destruction this time around. So I'm catching the top positions again and hoping for a solid podium. We'll just skip ahead to where I thought I got a good run up the hill here, but it wasn't to be. Falling behind the beautiful minty car there, and Wasta Rookie manages to get a run on Couture there, and I think I'm going to get a run, but the corner just comes at the wrong time, just have to ease off. And then into turn 1, they are swapping positions once again. Wasta Rookie has to just brake there and it allows me in. They cut in front of me, I just have to quickly get off the throttle for a moment. But Couture looks like they've lost quite a bit of momentum as well here. So despite all the contacts that I've had in the races running up to this one, the racing is extremely close when you do get a bunch of people who want to race fairly and are able to race fairly. Once again, I don't think it's a wise idea to go in side by side with anybody there, so just drop back. Wasta Rookie gets it way too hot, way too wrong, and spins around, so I inherit 4th place as a freebie, thank you very much. And then, just where Wasta Rookie got past Couture earlier, I do exactly the same thing. Now this is only lap 3 of 3, so I know it's quite important to hold this. I stay on the inside, no contact, they go out wide, I see the arrow, not sure exactly where they're going to rejoin, but as you see, they're in my mirror here, so we just come across the line for a 3rd place. Quite deserved, I think, and I made more of a meal of it because of the dropping back at the start, but it's always nice to make a bit of a comeback drive, isn't it? Next up then, we're off to Suzuka, where I am 3rd on the grid. I'm pretty hopeful of doing better this time, but I've got to get through the first series of corners after getting pit manoeuvred the first time around. We're going to stick with this one for the first lap. It is the shortened version of Suzuka, so I drop back from 3rd to 4th here, but Boba Fett is absolutely on a mission and they are going to come into play for us a little bit in the rest of this race. There's a lot of door banging going on there. PG Metric getting out of shape, banging Boba Fett back. And I think I've got a little bit of a chance to go around the outside here because PG Metric is just holding us up, but I don't get that opportunity. And this is all going to come to a head now. There's a bit of a bash there as well. These guys have been bashing each other quite a bit in the opening lap. Another one there. And then it all just goes wrong for PG Metric. Bang! Just the back kicks out of Boba Fett's car and just punts them straight off the road. So I'm up into third again. Rather hopeful that I can get a second, especially as they have a time penalty for that. Here's the story of the race then. I'm trying to get a run through the first corner a few times and just can't quite make it. Really great driving. Nothing particularly obstructive or unfair about any of this. It's just showing that I was really struggling. I was getting some good runs in places like here, but I just know I couldn't stick my car down there, and they make their car as wide as the circuit, so I just couldn't really get the better of them. They do have a 2-second penalty now though, so they must have got something for an off-track infraction while I was following them. But still, I'm struggling to get past, and into turn 1 on lap 7, still struggling to get past, but we are actually catching the leader. So I was really trying here, but here at the end of the race, I haven't quite done it, as you can see, but their 2-second penalty will drop them behind me. So a nice, solid second place, not too eventful, but very, very clean and very nice racing indeed. Here's the proof of it. Well done, Boba Fett, with your third place, but out driving me on the track, and a nice second place, and well done, Trance, for controlling the race from start to finish pretty much. Next up then, we are off to rerun Le Mans. Now in the first one, you saw that I span from second place on the very last corner. This is only a 2-lap race, and I was in pole. Now watch the driver who got an absolutely blinding start there, Jim Bean 672. They got a really great start. In qualifying, I caught them up. They were on a qualifying lap actually, and I caught them up quite a bit. So when I saw I was on pole with them in second, I didn't really think too much of it. I thought, you know what, I think I might be able to control this race because I was sure that I had better pace. I get a huge collision from behind there, and after squirming around, I just about managed to hold it. We just skip ahead then onto the first straight, where I get a good run out of the corner and overtake Jim Bean. So I think this is job done. But no, by the end of the straight, the slipstream is too powerful and they overtake me, and I'm about to make a colossal error because it is rather misty. They brake. I'm like, oh, is the recorder coming up? I just get it slowed down in time, but they get the jump on me. Really good, really clean there. And yeah, we are off to try again. By the next chicane, I get absolutely schooled by Valkyrie there, who turns out is an esports driver, and we are really going to see the potential win slip away from there. But the fight with Jim is going to continue, and it was probably my favourite battle of the week, so let's stick with it. On the following section at the end of the lap, I'm still with them, trying to just cheekily go through in the chicane, hoping they're going to run wide or something, and we start the final lap, and we're going to watch quite a bit of this. Valkyrie has somehow got a 5.1 time penalty. Now, I clatter into the side of Jim Bean there. That's on me, but I did expect him to go slightly wider there on the exit, so I was just trying to carry speed through and ended up with a car right in front of me, but I'm just glad he didn't spin, because that would have been a real shame to end the battle that way. So I stick with him here, get down the inside, and hoping for a clean move here. I get it. Nearly, just the car squirms around, nearly get out of shape there, but we've still got it. But we know what's going to happen. Yep, that slipstream comes into play again in the same place. I've just got to remember to hit my braking point this time, for the love of God. I do. We get it brake down nicely. Get into the chicane. Just get a nice exit now. Yep, I get on the power nice and early while Jim Beam was squirming around, so I get the better exit again. But really, that doesn't fill me with much confidence, because we've got another big straight coming up, and yep, once again the slipstream comes into play as we go into the following chicane. There's a big slide there ahead, but not really too much drama. and I'm there once again to be stuck right to the rear bumper of that Mazda MX-5 as we hit level 41 as well. Woo, it shows how long we've been playing this one for. It is a lot of fun, like I said, when you get a good close battle, and this was certainly one of the best. He thinks better of overtaking me into this slow corner. I get a reasonable drive out, but it is the story of the slipstream here. And look, he's already right up there behind me. Valkyrie's too far ahead. Even with a 6.2 second penalty, we're not winning this one. We're both getting schooled, and we're also holding each other up, I guess, with this battle. So maybe we could have been a tiny bit quicker if either one of us could have raced to the finish on our own, but there probably wasn't a lot in it. I don't think the race win was there with a driver simply doing that well out front. And then we're going to stick with the last part of this race now, where I've got the slipstream coming into the final section of the lap that's a little bit more twisty-turny. I think if I can get down the inside or outside in any of these corners, I should be able to hold it to the finish, but I lift off so as not to run wide. Jim Bean is fully committed all the way. And this is going to get exciting now. Look, I'm gaining. Just trying to navigate the corners as perfectly as possible to stick with him. He doesn't have a penalty, so this is a fight straight for position. I can't just capitalise on a penalty he has. I get a good run, but the car nearly gets out of shape there. Just a little bit of a wobble. And now is the final sequence of 2 chicanes where I got it all wrong in the first race behind the leader. What's going to happen this time? He's wishing me a good race. I'm glad he's enjoyed it, but it's not over yet, mate. Here we go into the chicanes. He slides a little bit, but he's holding it together a little bit slow into the final one. And I go, thank you very much, and steal that just at the last moment. He's 0.1 behind. I get second on merit. Beautiful. Absolutely fantastic racing. Really enjoyed that. Well done, Jim B. Well-deserved third, and you would have deserved second if you'd held on to it as well. Really good racing. Enjoyed it. And well done, Valkyrie, for an absolutely dominant performance despite the penalty. Finally then, it's redemption time at Hakone. I'm third on the grid. The 2 drivers ahead weren't too much faster in qualifying, so I'm reasonably hopeful that this can be a good race, but a lot of fast corners, a lot of opportunities to get it wrong. If you carry too much speed in, it can be difficult not to slide either straight off the circuit or get a bit too much wheel spin on throttle and spin it around like you saw with my first attempt when I was fighting for the lead. I got a bit of a collision from behind in turn 1, but nothing doing. A little bit of chaos in the mirror behind as well. That's not going to affect us. And it does look, with a little bit of a gap pulling out behind, that this could well be a 3-way battle for the win. Have I got what it takes, or are these guys going to get away from me? This long straight is fantastic for the slipstream, and the battle for first is already commencing at the end of it. I'm just going to sit here, I think, and see what happens. They break a little early, and Goo and Lennox fighting it out. I'm hoping to capitalise on something, just trying to keep as much speed around the outside as possible. Obviously, these cars are highly dependent on keeping momentum in order to go fast. So really, you just got to try and shed as little speed as possible. Really eventful, high octane first lap then. As we come towards the end, I try and keep it tight there. You always compromise that corner so you can get a nice sweeping run through this final turn. And that is third place consolidated, but we are nice and close as we enter lap number 2. We'll just skip ahead to the first corner so we don't have to watch too much of the straight. Sorry, this is the second corner, isn't it? I think it is. And the Ngu-Lennox fight is still unfolding in front. They nearly come together there, but Ngu staying out of the back of Lennox so that we can both, or all 3 of us, can fight another day. As we come into the end section of the lap again, it's just so important to keep it tight here so you can get a good run and then start the next lap off just right. So as we end lap 2, we are still in third, and we're about as close as we were at the end of the first lap too. So I'm still full of hope that we can do something here. into the first corner. They're using the track width quite well, but I get a pretty decent run on the inside line. Just try and tuck it in there, but I do go quite wide because Ngu is on my inside. So look at that, I have to turn way more. It's way better to straight line this, obviously, for maximum speed down the straight. So I just fall in behind again. Lennox nearly gets it wrong, the curb just unsettling them, and that allows Ngu in to potentially take the lead. Really good battle ahead of me. I'm enjoying watching this while trying to keep up myself. The win is definitely there for the taking if something goes wrong or they hold each other up a little bit or get a rough run out of a corner. It's you know, close enough for me to really capitalise on this. So as we end lap 3, once again, we're all about as close as we were originally. I get a little bit of a slide there. And then coming out of the turn, Ngu suddenly, battling for the win, turns right into the wall, and it becomes a one-on-one between Lennox and myself, and I have the run here. So as I'm coming down, it's lap 4 of 5. I'm thinking, look at me, Mum, I'm doing it, I might win one of these rerun races. We've had a second, we've had a third, haven't we? It would be about time that we got a win. So we get a good run in the slipstream. I try and keep it tight, get brake down, stay on the inside. I get a collision. They just turn into me, but I managed to hold onto the car and hold on to first place. But as we come through these next series of corners, you will see that I do lose a little bit more momentum than Lennox here. Look at this. I thought I was taking this pretty well, to be honest. Look, sliding a little bit, but they get a really cracking run and are up my inside. So I just try and hang it out around the outside, which will now become the inside. I need to keep it tight. We collide again. I don't really think there's much blame there. Bit of a door banging incident, bit of a racing incident, but it is still on. So this is lap 5 of 5. We get the run through the very fast chicane onto the straight once again with the slipstream. And I am doing it again. I'm going to go for it. But this is where it comes a little bit unstuck for me. I've got the run. The arrow is falling behind. I really am thinking, come on, just a few more corners. You can hold it. You can get the race win. But I remember what happened last time where we collided. So I keep it ultra tight on the curb. It puts me out of shape. Lennox carries a ton of speed out wide, and I just fall back. Did somebody order disappointment with a side of anticlimax? Because unfortunately, that's what happened. I thought it was going to be a great battle to the finish for a possible win. But we just have to settle for second. But again, not a bad performance, and well done, Lennox, for a great bit of racing there. Overall then, we still safety S and 4927 on the skill rating, which stays nice and high. And for those of you asking, didn't you rerun the Spa race? No, I didn't. It never happened. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Take care, and I'll see you next time.